All right, let's talk about fashion, but we're not just talking about trends. We're diving into how artificial intelligence is completely shaking up the entire industry. I mean, from the high fashion runway all the way to your online shopping cart. In this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how that's happening. Okay, take a look at this dress. It's stunning, right? But it brings up a really big question. A question that's right at the heart of this huge shift in fashion. Was this designed by a human or by an algorithm? Who, or maybe what, is the real designer here? And to really get a sense of just how big this change is, you have to look at the numbers. The global fashion market, it's a nearly $4 trillion industry. That's trillion with a T. And AI, well, AI is carving out its piece of that pie, and it's doing it fast, growing its share by over 40% every single year. That's just wild. So before AI showed up on the scene, creating all those gorgeous visuals that make you want to buy something, well, that whole process was a real headache. It was slow, crazy expensive, and honestly, just not very flexible. Let's break down why. First off, time. Traditional photo shoots take forever. I mean, think about it. You've got to scout the perfect location, book the models, do the shoot, and then there's all the editing and post-production. The whole thing just grinds to a halt, creating this huge bottleneck for brands that are trying to move at the speed of, the internet. And then, of course, there's the money. We're talking high-end cameras, paying the models, the stylists, the travel. It all just piles up. It creates this massive financial hurdle that basically puts a cap on how much cool stuff a brand can even create. And last but not least, the old way of doing things is just rigid. Trying to get top models on the same schedule, it's a logistical nightmare. And what if you want to adapt your campaign for different countries and cultures? A lot of the time, you have to start all over again. It's a huge, complicated, and expensive puzzle. Okay, now look at this. This is where AI just flips the script completely. A photo shoot that took you hours, AI can knock it out in minutes. A budget that was ballooning into the thousands, now you might be looking at less than $100. What does that mean? It means a crazy leap in how much you can do and who can do it. The doors are suddenly wide open. So with all these problems, these bottlenecks, the industry was just crying out for something new. And that something new turned out to be generative AI. You know, the tech that can conjure up brand new images and designs just from a few words you type in. And this isn't some small change. According to the folks at McKinsey, this tech could pump up to $275 billion of extra value into the fashion and luxury world. Let that sink in. This isn't just a fleeting trend. It's a massive economic earthquake. Okay, so here's where it gets real for the people actually making the clothes. Some of these AI tools are cutting the cost of product photos by up to 90%. 90! Can you imagine what that means for a small brand just starting out or an indie designer? It's a total game changer. It's leveling the playing field for everyone. Just look at the difference this makes. On the left, you've got your standard, kind of boring shot on a mannequin. And on the right, boom! Same t-shirt, but now it's on a super realistic AI-generated model. Instantly, that product feels more live, more relatable, something you can actually see yourself wearing. And it's not just about models. AI takes care of all those boring, tedious tasks like swapping out backgrounds. So you can take one product and instantly see it in a million different settings. One minute it's in a cool storefront, the next it's in front of some historic landmark. And you never had to leave your desk. That's powerful, effortless personalization on a massive scale. So you might be wondering, how does this all work, right? How does an AI go from being a general-purpose tool to a fashion expert, a real creative partner? Well, the magic word here is fine-tuning. The analogy on the slide is perfect. It's like sending a talented artist to fashion school. You take a really smart general AI model, and then you give it a specialized education. You feed it all of a specific brand's data, their signature styles, their color palettes, their past ad campaigns. You're teaching it to speak that brand's unique language. And this diagram kind of shows you how it works under the hood. The AI starts out with this massive general knowledge about, well, everything. Then, through that fine-tuning process, you feed it all that specific fashion data, and that sharpens its focus. The end result is a super specialized model that gets the brand's vibe and can create stuff that is perfectly on brand. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The quality of that fashion data diet is absolutely everything. You've heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? It's the same for AI.
If you feed it a limited, non-diverse set of images, you're going to get boring, biased, and repetitive results. But if you feed it a rich, diverse, high-quality dataset, that's when you unlock true creativity and fairness.
So this isn't just a cool idea on a whiteboard. Big brands are already running with this. Let's take a look at some real-world examples of how this tech is already making waves.
Okay, this was a huge moment. Vogue Singapore created the very first magazine cover shoot using only AI-generated models. And what was so cool about it is that they used it to celebrate the heritage and diversity of Southeast Asian women. Can you imagine trying to orchestrate that with a traditional photo shoot? It would have been a logistical nightmare.
And then you have a giant like Nike. They used AI not just for marketing, but for the actual design process. This shoe, the ISPA Link Axis, is wild. It's this futuristic hybrid of a sneaker and a sandal. It's a perfect example of a human designer collaborating with an AI to create something totally new.
And it's even spilling out of the fashion world. Take Coca-Cola. They worked with AI to co-create a whole product concept. This limited edition flavor was literally designed with help from AI to imagine what soda might taste like in the year 3000. How crazy is that?
So as you can see, the uses for this are just exploding. It's touching every single part of the creative process. We're talking virtual prototypes that cut down on waste, simulations to see how a fabric will drape, all the way to fully digital fashion shows and ads personalized just for you. AI is literally being woven into the very fabric of the industry. So yeah, it's pretty clear. This isn't some far-off future we're talking about. The move from the old manual way of doing things to a new AI-powered world is happening right now. It's changing the DNA of the fashion industry as we speak.
And this quote really nails it. For forever, fashion design has been about experimenting, trying things out, making mistakes, and finding something fresh. But now, with AI, that process is becoming so much more precise, more efficient. It's guided by data in a way it never could be before.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As these incredibly powerful AI tools get more and more tangled up in the creative process, who's really the author anymore? The lines get pretty blurry. So who do you think is designing fashion's future? Is it the human designer or the AI assistant that's right there by their side?